Hi, this is Shakira.
And this is Lia,
We're cooking up a great conversation.
starting with a cup of insights,
Add a tablespoon of fun.
a slice of drama,
Drama. A pinch of salt.
para may konting alat, and lots of pepe.
Siyempre, may anghang.
Welcome to
Salt and Pepe Podcast. Hi, welcome back to Salt and Pepe Podcast. I am Shakira Sisa.
Welcome back to Salt and Pepe Podcast. I am Lia. Hello, everyone. Hi, Lia.
Hi. Can you believe that it is our 24th episode and the last episode of the second season?
I can't believe. It's just like, wow, 24, the thought of 24 more than,
It's great, right? Kasi parang we do this one step at a time, di ba? Na parang episode per episode. So it doesn't seem like a lot. But if you think about it, conservative estimate na yung 1 hour per episode, but usually it goes up to sometimes 1 hour and 43. Let's say 1.5, right? So can you imagine mga 30 to 40 hours of conversation? I don't think Leah and I have ever talked this much in our entire life in
actually
the past 30 years or something. So it's quite a feat. At saka recorded siya lahat. So it's a big chunk of knowledge and information that's just out there for everybody, and it's our gift not just to everyone but to each other.
Exactly. Really,
Right?
it's really to each other talaga. Because we always naman talk, but not this length. And tsaka yung insights.
The depth of the conversation, we don't really have these kinds of conversations. So although sometimes we might feel like ano ba, medyo pilit ba yung conversation, but otherwise if we don't assign this topic, we might never have a chance to discuss it in this way.
Totoo. I mean, that's true. And it's just a nice way of talking and just sharing talaga. And you really get to know each other pa more ba with the topics.
Yeah, so what have you learned, or what accomplishments are you proud of itong past 24 episodes?
Well, of course, one is to be able to do a podcast, right? Imagine, I never thought, parang nag-enjoy lang ako dun dati sa background and and just learning how to prepare it. That's one. And then just to be able to share my thoughts na parang, meron pala akong share talaga. And then, I learned na there really are people that you can touch and talk to. It's nice that there's a platform, sobrang global na. And then, I like that kahit, sometimes kasi when we're in a tita age, we think, hindi na tayo relevant or something, diba? But if you really think about it, we have so much to share because of the experiences. And of course, us, right? How we communicate, how we build this. And it's just nice kasi kahit naman outgoing ako naman, sometimes I'm also shy. It's nice that, may pagka-introvert din ako at times to be able to be just there for each other and galing the friendship that we built pa more. Ikaw.
Yeah, and so alam mo naman that when we started this, my primary objective was to really just keep tabs on you. Diba? Kasi sabi ko na it's a good excuse to be constantly in touch, so that I could make sure that you're doing okay. But it looks like you're mostly good now. I'm really looking forward to the next part of your journey. So, in that sense, it's nice that we've kept in touch throughout this entire process in the past year. And I'm hoping to continue that in our third season, right? So that was my first objective. And the second is, even with K-Talk, I really wanted to get over myself. Kasi masyado akong self-conscious, especially about, parang public speaking or parang recording. I used to really, really hate my voice. Yung parang nagkikringe ako pagka naririnig ko yung mga recordings dati. Pero actually now, in like ilan ba yung K-Talk? 12 din ata yung K-Talk, right? So like 36 episodes of a podcast. I've kind of like gotten over myself. I've gotten used to this routine. And even though sometimes parang nakakahiya or I cringe, I'm not as self-conscious anymore about myself. At saka kung ano man yung mga imagined hang-ups ko, I just parang dinibdib ko na kasi ngayon yung belief na I have something to share. So, kiber na dun sa delivery if like it's not like my like how I imagine myself or how I would like to be, as long as we get the message across. I think that's what's important to me. So another objective of mine also parang to share what we know and what we've experienced with our listeners, and hoping they can apply it to their own lives. And with the number of episodes that we've done, like there of course there are times na parang isipin natin, relevant ba to? Baka wala naman nakikinig. But then we actually have some regular subscribers na talagang sumusubaybay sila or nagko-comment sila, or they actually express like gratitude and appreciation for the things that we share and what they've learned from us. So that's touching and kind of like supports what we're trying to do here. And last but not the least, in fairness, I've also learned so much about you the past year. Thanks so much for sharing yourself with me and the show. I know that the first part of it was a really difficult time, but I think that you helped a lot of people with your parang honesty and being genuine with your feelings and your willingness to share that with everyone. So thanks for that.
Well, you're welcome. But I think that was also a big help kasi nga, di man ako napilit, di ba? But being able to share, nakaka-release eh. Kasi I'm not the type, again, of person nga to talk to other people. But that's, I told you in the first episode na sobra akong saya because they were just people who were just
Mm-hmm.
looking out for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And being able to release and sharing my thoughts, it helped a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
it also, surprisingly, diba? And I think right now naman kasi, and this technology in this world na parang ang galing na you can share and may makaka-relate and we're able
Mm-hmm.
to reach out to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Right?
So, since we're taking a break, of course,
Mm-hmm.
after this, as usual, we have a break after each season and saying goodbye to the second season, we thought it was a timely topic to talk about goodbyes.
Specifically, how we've personally handled goodbyes in the past, and maybe some insights on how to handle goodbyes properly, and most importantly, the popular topic to the topic of closure.
Yes, very interesting yung closure. I learned a lot of that also. Yun yung mga, when I learned about closure, dun feeling ko nag-step up yung mga ninja skills ko. Diba? Then, you discover, may closure talaga na aspect of moving on,
Mhm,
diba? So,
mhm,
super great topic na naman. And because, again, we talked about love and we talked
mhm,
about complications of
mhm,
relationships, what happens in marriage. So, of course, we would like also to discuss what happens in the end because as we've already mentioned, Tita Age, we've been through a lot of
mhm,
relationships and of course, a lot of goodbyes.
mhm,
Relationships, work, diba?
mhm.
And friendships na rin.
Right? I find this interesting kasi sa age natin, halos wala na tayong kakilala na hindi pa sila nakaka-experience ng breakup or goodbye. Parang
True.
lahat ng tao may ex na ngayon. Even like the longest, relationships that we knew before nung bata tayo,
Yes.
these relationships ended also na parang masyashock ka na parang, oh shit, nag-break sila parang, right? Actually, I find that a great advantage in our insight and also how we look at life. Kasi iba talaga yung outlook mo kung hindi mo pa nadadaanan yung isang breakup or difficulty in recovering or leaving someone. I know like I know someone who has only dated one person, and matagal na sila, but it's parang it's so hard to know actually what you have kung first relationship mo yun because you've never lost someone that you've spent time with. So, parang I think iba talaga yung outlook mo if you never had to uh, navigate like a breakup, being single, and getting back out there and dating again, right? So very great like topic, and I'm very excited for this, right?
Interesting topic again, for sure.
Right? And on the concept of goodbye, parati kong sinasabi to na the moment that you make eye contact with somebody that you end up with, nakasulat na yung katapusan ninyo. Like you can't run away from it. All relationships end, and paulit-ulit kong sinasabi yan from the beginning of time. The only thing that we don't know is when and how it's going to end. So napaka-fatalistic ba nito ng itong parang idea ko na inuulit-ulit ko, like, ikaw personally, do you believe in forever?
Uh, because I think may romantic part pa rin ako sa katawan ko, no?
Mhm.
Um, brush out yung death as a part of,
Mhm.
leaving. Ako, I believe. May
Oh,
forever.
wow.
Kasi we're, immortals. Yes. Diyos tayo, mga gods. I think, if, the ones that we talked about, right? Hindi mo kasi ibig sabihin yung forever is when you're born hanggang, di ba? I mean, you
Yeah,
may have met them maybe nga in your
in the
latter
past
parts of,
life.
di ba?
Oh,
Maybe
so
you've
may
met
mga
them.
future lives ka palang iniisip.
Oo. So I think meron. If you've, met your match. I
Mhm.
won't even say soulmate eh. Parang talagang yung talagang and you're the type of person, your personality
Mhm.
is, settled. Kasi some people,
Mhm.
iba talaga yung personality eh. Parang
Mhm.
they really get bored, they want something new,
Mhm.
Some people naman parang, okay, I think this
Mhm.
is it. I like the calmness and the
Mhm.
tranquility, mag-aaway man, ikaw talaga yung gusto kong makasama.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
because of the different personalities and never realize, dati hindi ako naniniwala, walang forever, iwan ka lang yan. Because nga, I also, di ba, grew
Mhm.
up with, my parents got separated. So,
Mhm.
in my head, they just leave din pala. So, it
Mhm.
wasn't hard for me talaga kasi I understood na breakups can happen because nga,
Mhm.
my parents
Mhm.
separated. So, pero, now, meeting a lot of personalities, naniniwala ako may pwedeng forever. Not for all, but the
Mhm.
lucky few or maybe those
Mhm.
who really want to be in that
Mhm.
kind. Hindi
Mhm.
lang yung nag-TTS ha, yung
Mhm.
really both of them really match. I
Mhm.
think yes, meron
Yeah.
forever. Wow, nasabi ko yun. That's
Yaks! Alam mo,
change.
I don't disagree because um even though I always say na nakasulat yung katapusan ninyo. I also believe that if you love someone, you will love them forever. Kahit yung talagang real true love, you'll always love them kahit na anong mangyari, even though naghiwalay na kayo, or you're not in touch anymore, or even if you're both gone from this earth. I think that love exists like in the form of energy somehow. I don't know if that's a spirit, or basta it's like some form of energy that's like passed on. And this happens even if you're not physically together, or even if the relationship ends. um I know that, and that's from experience, na kahit na bad breakup, kahit na you never talk to that person again, meron talagang part of you that's uniquely touched by this, and that's like the kind of love that transcends whatever physical, spiritual boundaries of this
Mm.
world. Pero yung relationship na forever, physically forever, like, hindi ako masyadong naniniwala doon, because also it's also a mindset for me. I really believe that each person comes into your life for a reason, and we're all just passing ships even though you're together for a long time. you're meant to teach each other something. You're meant to share something that's going to change you, change your outlook in life, provide meaning in your life. And then it's going to pass either death or separation or something. Doesn't mean na mawawala yung na-share ninyo. But that, I don't believe that a person is bound to you and has to like insist on physical togetherness for the rest of your life kung talagang it's not working, right? I mean, it's a painful thought, but it's for me, I like to think of things that way kasi you kind of you stop taking people for granted pag alam mo na
Pwede
this
mo.
moment is like unique. Every single day is unique, and every single day and moment and second with this person is never going to happen again. Kaya you should really savor it. So, but in the physical realm or relationships and commitments, sometimes we do have to end things, right? So I want to know, in your past, how have you ended things or how have others ended things for you? And what was your reaction?
Super, this is nice kasi syempre nga, well, talagang lesbiana ako, gusto ko talaga ng babae, I wanna be in relationship. So, I'm the type, if I like you, I'll pursue you. And of course, ako rin, I'm the type also, before I go into relationship, this person, I would think na pwede kaming long term. I don't really go into relationship, ay, trip ko siya eh, ganun lang.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get to know the person. Because I'm the type who would really invest energy and
Mm-hmm.
time. So I don't want to waste that with
Mm-hmm.
kahit sino. So if I like someone and I see sobra kaming okay, then I really want to be their partner or their
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend. Hopefully, tatagal kami. And with that thought, I make sure if we do break up, I'm gonna be honest. And still, I won't be, I will tell the truth and it won't work, 'di ba? Kasi sometimes if you just go into a relationship na wala lang kasi bagay kami, she looks so pretty I wanna be your girlfriend, ganyan. That you can, exactly, you can take for granted and just leave, 'di ba? Without just being upfront or just being just a nice person kahit nagbe-break ka, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I really first, I would really exhaust everything.
Mm-hmm.
Parang I would think, no, maybe I can still make this work, ganyan. Kasi nga, yun na, nag-invest ka na naman ng time. And
Mm-hmm.
that's relationship. Sometimes it's gonna be hard. Hindi naman the first thing that's hard, di ba? Makikipag-break ka. Although,
Mm-hmm.
ganun naman dati, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll exhaust everything. Kapag hindi na okay, sabihin ko talaga, I don't think this would work. Although, my first relationships, kasi nga, I know it will happen. The universe will give you the same thing over and over until you do it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi nga ako nagsasalita eh. So I'm not the type who would get angry talaga. I'll keep it to myself. Titiisin ko kasi mahal ko siya. Ganon yung concept ko dati.
Mm-hmm.
Love ko to. I should accept everything about this person. Feeling mo nga knight in shining armor. Ganon ako dati na parang, di ba? Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, pero also napaka-butch kasi ng
At,
ganyan eh.
oo, minamahal at
'Di ba?
inaalagaan. Correct.
Aminin mo na ano yan, butch phenomenon yan.
Exact. I think so too. Because
Right?
nga, paano step forward na parang mas okay kami sa lalaki eh. 'Di ba? Na parang, and we know horror stories about men. 'Di
Mm-hmm.
ba? And of course, well, it's really just personality. Pag galit ka, 'di ba? You cannot not hide that and just be a fake person. Pero talagang nasasaktan ka. So, anyway, so I've had girlfriends na nga, me, myself, and I girlfriend. So, one time, yun, sumabog na ako. As in petty. One day, sabi ko, ayoko na. Yun.
Mm-hmm.
That was how I did it before. I would say, ayoko na. Tapos parang, and then, my longest relationship naman, which I think, well, of course, we know, it just broke up, diba? Pero ang ginawa ko doon, I'm gonna give this person one more year.
Mm-hmm.
In my head.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi ko sinabi sa kanya.
Oh, okay.
Diba? That's funny. Ngayon ko lang realize yun, shucks, hindi ko nga sinabi sa kanya, sa akin lang yun. So, syempre, nothing's gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? So I gave that person a year. Again, na pagod na ako. I just said, I don't think I want to continue with this anymore. Without giving warning, nothing. So, ganun ako dati. I
Mhm.
I'm pissed off with something. Hindi ko naman sinasabi kung ano yung kinaiinisan ko.
Mhm.
Kasi feeling ko I'm changing that person. 'Di ba? Baka naman I should have said it para at least
Mhm.
change that person for good. Baka naman meron siyang personality na dapat palitan naman talaga.
Mhm.
So yun, that's how I would break up. Parang one day sabi ko lang ayoko na. And then eventually I realized na hindi yun tama. At least I would say na that was my longest. 12 years was my longest relationship.
Mhm.
Um, and yun, sumabog na kasi ayoko na. And then after that, yun na. Yun yung mga short relationships. Alam ko na it won't work. Sinasabi ko na kaagad. I don't think this is going to work out. Although nga. And yun. So those are the things, ano, naman how I did it.
Mhm.
Pero, mas marami namang nag-goodbye sa akin kaysa sa ako yung nag-goodbye. So, so with again, kasi I've had relationships na hindi naman siguro sila lesbiana talaga. And then,
Mhm.
may fear factor. So, one would say they broke up with me. Yun naman, they're honest with me. Ayoko kasi nga, my family. So, okay. One, eto, interesting. But this person, I learned a lot. Sobrang okay. We didn't naman naging kami, but we dated. Na parang MU. We use it. Mutual understanding for the young
Mhm.
ones. So,
Or malabong usapan for the not so young ones. And
yes.
for the really old ones, MU is mag-on.
Perfect. So, parang ganon. No official. We were having a good time. As in, talagang type ko talaga to, ganyan. And she goes, I don't think we can continue this. What she said was, because you're a happy person. Oh. And she was just so happy daw with me. But kasi her personality, siya yung parang laging feeling niya negative, malungkot lahat. Although she was not showing that to me, sobrang kaming saya. So, syempre bata pa akong college yun eh. Sabi ko, hindi ko na gets. But of course, you respect naman, ako naman, I respect a person if they say goodbye. Hindi
Mhm.
ko naman pinipilit talaga. I'm not the type talaga who would say, no, pagbigyan mo one more time. No. The only things I always say is, are you sure you want this? If they say,
Mhm.
I'm sure, then that's it. That's the only question I always ask. Are you sure? And then they'll say,
Mm.
talaga, I would always say that. Are you sure? And they say, yes, I've thought about it. Okay. Then,
Mm.
okay, goodbye. Pag uwi, gulgol lang. Ugly cry na.
Actually, ang ano, nung sinabi mo yun, yung you're a happy person, ganyan, nag-inuhulaan ko, sino kaya to? Parang kilala ko to pero nung sinabi mong college, hindi ko na alam kung sino.
Okay. Kaya alam mo to. Pero, I don't know kung alam mo meron nangyari. Anyway,
Oh
so,
shit! Pwedeng ano?
mamaya na natin pag-usapan yun.
Text mo na
Anyway,
lang sa akin.
alam mo, kilala mo siya eh. Anyway, kasi nasa community siya eh. So anyway, yung time na yan, sabi ko, wow. Di ba parang people, kasi ang saya-saya daw niya talaga. It's so nice.
Mhm.
She loves my family, ganyan lahat. Pero nga, because she knows herself most,
Mhm.
she doesn't want to taint me or something. Di ba?
Mhm.
May ganun pa talaga. So, okay. So yun, sure din naman siya. Ito na, this is my super favorite. I want to hear yours na eh. So, yun na yung after my long relationship, I have like this small relationships. After 3 months, this person said, ito the best line ever. It's you, it's not me.
Bakit daw? Ano daw ang problema mo?
Ayun lang ang term niya. Di ba parang laging ang line?
Baliktad.
Oo,
Baliktad.
exactly. I was so shocked. I was like, wait, did you say it? I wanted to ask, did you say it correctly? Pero after insulting me like that, I mean, you should have told me ano yung problema mo talaga. Wala naman siyang sinabi. I think
Mhm.
she just really wanted to, wanted to get out of the relationship. Kasi I'm sure, alam ko nangloko na siya. I mean, she was dating somebody else. Basta short naman relationship to. But that was just, I didn't know if I was gonna laugh or what. Kasi nakakatawa. Talagang, ganon. No, because it's you, not me. Okay. Then I go, Yeah.
That's
I don't
funny.
wanna I just don't wanna talk
That's funny.
about it. Yes, sobrang funny. That's my favorite. That's my favorite breakup story.
Mm.
So, ikaw, how have you others left you or vice versa?
How have others left me? Um, Noong mga unang panahon, ito sobrang 90s itong ano, na sinabihan lang ako na, okay, I'll just see you in the chat room. Parang ibig sabihin, actually, I think tinanong ko parang, when am I gonna see you again? And then she just said, I'll just see you in the chat room. Tapos ako parang, oh, okay, I guess that's it. I guess, all right, then whatever. Pero ibig sabihin nun parang bago pa lang magkakilala, right? So parang, now looking at it, although during that time parang, oh shit, parang ang sakit yata nun kasi yung mga first few times kasi yun na I was dating women. So para sa akin, parang shit, parang ganito ba yun? How do I navigate this? So ngayon, baliwala na yun kasi in that timeline of things, ngayon alam ko na if you meet someone sa umpisa and then they tell you right away, that's actually a good thing,
Yeah,
right?
actually.
And then another one is, I don't see you in the same way. So basically, what you feel for me is not the same. And then, meron naman yung mga umaalis na namamatay sila. So that
Oh,
one, I've talked about that extensively, right? And then, there's also this na, I have to say, actually, I dated somebody na, nung nalaman niyan that nobody has really, actually verbally broken up with me, she took it as a negative kasi daw, I don't know what it's like na iwanan ako, so therefore I probably will take things for granted, ganun daw yon kasi hindi ko alam, parang hindi ko naman kasalanan kung hindi ako iniiwan, right? Because I don't know, maybe there's also like a part of me that, I maybe not as much as the butch phenomenon, but I do give a lot, and I do give everything that I can and my best effort in a relationship. So maybe for others, for my partners, maybe that makes it hard to verbally like leave me formally and say I'm not happy with you anymore. But the downside of that, yung parang ayokang saktan, is that they kind of leave you in other ways. Yung hindi sasabihin sa'yo na ayoko na sa'yo, but, they'll destroy the relationship
I know
so
that.
that a separation is inevitable and wala akong choice kung hindi iwanan ko sila. And then magiging kasalanan ko even though they've already destroyed it. Like
Grabe.
if they have an affair, or nagloko na for a long time, or in denial or whatever, or they treat me so poorly, abusive or whatever, neglect or whatever, na wala na akong choice kundi ako na magsasabi na, you know what, this is not working. And that's happened to me before, na parang just say it kasi nagloloko ka na, you're so mean to me. So
Exactly.
just say na hindi ka na masaya or this is not for you. But I guess the tendency is because I'm not saying like I'm the best partner. I'm like so deeply flawed at saka madami ako talagang kasalanan in a relationship because I'm also, like many people, messed up in a certain way. Like we all are, right? But I do, especially when I was younger, have made a lot of mistakes. But also, I do try to give my best effort because I've always had this idea of how I want my relationships to be. I want my relationship. I'm just like you because you didn't have that with your parents, 'di ba? Para you try so hard na I'm going to be a good partner. I want my relationship to be like this. I want it to be happy, ganyan. You make a really good effort. So I think, especially when we were young, pag yung mga partners ko nakaka-encounter ng ganun, they don't want to lose that. They don't want to lose the partner who gives the best effort, tries to be kind, nice, good to your family, etc. But the downside is kung hindi na sila masaya, it's very hard for them to be just honest because they don't want to lose that part, but they also want to do other things, right? So
Exactly.
um, so these are the people who left me. I think you already mentioned. So I want to find out how have you left others naman.
Yun nga. So, talagang ano, I would really have that moment and talk to them. Although nga yung sabi ko nga may mga biglaan kasi sometimes mate-trigger na lang eh. Kasi nga, again, because I wasn't really saying na, you know what, ayokong ginagawa mo to. It
Mhm.
really, I get upset kapag ganyan. I didn't
Mhm.
say those things dati eh. Parang okay lang, ganyan. So, parang I didn't know. I wanted to hear a sorry pala. Alam mo yun, there are a lot of
Mhm.
things na I wanted, na I was thinking, they should know that eh. Parang ganon. That was in my head
Mhm.
before, na parang, they should know how to treat somebody well. Ganon lang ako. So, so yun na, minsan sumasabog na, and I just say, I don't even shout. I just say, ayoko na. And they're just gonna look at me. Ano? Ayoko na. I just wanna end this. I don't think I wanna be in this relationship. That's how I would end it. Pero I've never ended through text. I have never ended through a letter. I have to make sure na sinasabi ko verbally,
Mhm.
nakikita nila because they deserve that din.
Mhm.
Diba? I mean, they spent time with me. We tried to work this relationship. So, ang rule ko talaga is to make sure to talk to them properly
Mhm.
because they deserve that. So, that's
Mm.
how I would end things then.
Very nice.
Yes. Kasi nga eh, relationship, mahal ko naman siya talaga eh, 'di ba? Pero yun nga. Ang interesting part na nga, when after my 12-year relationship, I knew already what, kung may term na red flags, alam ko na what would work or not work. So that,
Mm.
yung malakas sa loob ko talaga. Before, I couldn't say it, ayoko na. But never din ako natakot na maging bad guy eh. So, because it's part of it. Siguro nga because again,
Mhm.
I know relationships can end because nga I came from a broken family. So it was not something that I was worried about
Mhm.
or yun, diba? So ikaw naman, how did you leave relationships?
How have I left others? Let's just say that I am no good at this. I try to do
Heartbreaker.
I try to do it the kind and gentle way, but it doesn't always work out. I guess because for me, yun na nga, like I said, I do try to give my relationships everything that I have and my best effort. So I guess it's also my greatest flaw that I'll give my best effort and sometimes often actually stay longer than I should have. And then when I know it's over, uh I'll express that I'm leaving, but I believe that I can just disappear and move on, I guess because I already gave it my best shot. So wala na kung parang feeling ko ano pang pwede kong gawin to change this. And I guess that's also parang my mentality siguro nung bata ako because I kind of like you. I didn't really give the other person a chance. Right? Parang ina-assume ko lang na, mabait ako sa'yo eh. So, dapat alam mo na yun. Dapat mabait ka rin sa akin. Dapat, actually, for until now, hindi ko talaga maintindihan din yun. Kasi parang feeling ko lang parate. And correct me if I'm wrong, I just feel like, kung mahal mo ko, you should know na dapat mahalin mo ko the way I love you. Kasi alam mo na that's how I want to be loved. So parang hindi ko maisip kasi na parang bakit napaka-dense ba nung tao na parang madali lang naman yun, edi gawin mo exactly. That's actually the guidebook, 'di ba? Pero I've learned that hindi pala automatic yon and people don't have the same lens that you do and they also don't see exactly what you do the way you see it na kaya nilang i-repeat yun towards you, right? Like, or it's really not just, that's not their love language. Like, for example, if I think about it, it's really out of my character to like for example, and I've been with my wife for over 2 decades, to love my wife the way she loves me, her love language na kunyari gifts or whatever. It's just not my personality. So parang sa akin, kung yun yung hinihintay niya, she's not gonna get it because I'm not like that. I'm not going to look for fancy things to give as a present because for me, it's more than that. Yung ganon, di ba? So anyway,
Pareho tayo.
that's off topic, but I feel like that's our similarity. And also a flaw, kasi parang feeling ko ang dali lang naman eh. Eh di gayahin mo lang ako, just copy me. What is the problem? But yun na
Mm.
nga, what I've learned in all these years is sometimes you have to spell it out. Even though it sounds dumb, right? Na parang dapat alam mo na yun, hindi naman napaka-obvious naman eh. Kailangan ko bang sabihin sa'yo maging mabait ka? Right? 'Di ba? So,
Yes.
anyway, to get back to it, because I give my best effort, it's in my head, I feel like it's easy for me to just end things and quote unquote disappear and walk away. And not just with relationships, but also uh, friendships and also associated relationships with the person I'm leaving also, which is also bad, di ba? Kasi hindi naman dapat mawala din yung friendships with that person, you know. So, um, I have to share like one regret that I had with one partner where I really wanted to be honest with her and tell her that I'm not happy and I don't think we're a match and do like a nice clean breakup, which I've always tried to do, even though, masakit minsan pakinggan. Um, anyway, this was way before I was much younger. I wanted to do it in the quote unquote right way and to basically say those things na I don't think this is gonna work out, whatever it is. But my dumb self listened to a friend who I think was afraid that I would regret it. So I should do it differently and use a different excuse in case I
Mm.
change my mind daw. So ako
Ah,
parang, oh shit, na second guess ko tuloy yung sarili ko na parang, even though alam ko na hindi kami bagay and maybe one day maging bagay kami, I just didn't see myself with this person. I wanted to be honest, but na second guess ko tuloy yung sarili ko na, oh nga no, baka nga hindi na ako makahanap nung kasing bait nito. But when you're young, akala mo mabait lang yung kailangan mo eh. Pero hindi. Hindi. Right? So I believed my friend and I did what she said na gumawa ako ng ibang excuse some stupid excuse like I'm busy with school or my master or something stupid like I just I don't have time for a relationship. Yung mga ganyang stupid excuse ginawa ko. Tapos tuloy in the end, mas nasaktan yung tao, right? And then, instead of just being honest, I kind of like messed that up and I should have done it the right way at dapat hindi ako nakinig and I should have just trusted myself and also my objective to do it in the right way. So, sorry na. Alam ko masaya ka na.
and that at
Sana,
least.
sana hindi ka nagalit.
Oh,
So anyway, since then, I've really tried to make a conscious effort to parang do things right when it comes to ending things. Alam mo naman kasi yun na when it's close to the end or parang you're getting ready to end things kasi either hindi ka na masaya or alam mo hindi na masaya yung tao, nararamdaman mo yan. Huwag nating sabihin na sobrang blindsided tayo. Kasi if you really pay attention in your relationship, napapansin mo yung bawat change. Kung nagbabago na yung tao, iba na yung tono ng tao, the way things used to be, the conversations that you have, you know that something is up kahit na
yeah.
sabihin mo, kahit hindi pa niya sabihin sa'yo forever, I don't believe that you're completely blindsided unless you tolerated that kind of disconnect for 1 decade na
Oh
Na
my
tas
gosh.
or like basta many years, tapos biglang, okay, it's over. Then ikaw parang, oh shit, bakit ngayon end mo na? Eh, akala ko okay ka na dito sa dysfunction na to. Then that's blindsided. Pero
Grabe
why
yun.
would you even maintain a relationship na merong ganong disconnect? But you know what? We see it more often than not. We see
True.
it in like parental figures na alam mo na wala na, parang alam mo na parang you guys hate each other anyway, parang ganon na it becomes normalized and you think that's just how relationships are and you rationalize and you say, hindi, mahal namin isa't isa, ganito lang talaga kami, Carino brutal, or whatever stupid excuse that you're already trying to change how you really want your relationship to be. Masasanay ka doon sa toxic relationship. Tapos, pagka talagang wala na, kunyari magugulat ka. Magugulat ka that one of you
Diba?
was brave enough to say, I deserve better. So, anyway, pag nalaman mo, parang you're feeling na malapit na, I think you should also mindfulness again, right? Try to think of, okay, how do I end this, and how do I want this person to end it with me, and be conscious, 'di ba? Kasi nararamdaman mo naman yun eh. In anything, friendships or relationships, alam mo na it's close to the end, and maybe you should think about how to do this properly and be on top of it kaysa just allowing things to happen to you. Tapos, ikaw ngayon yung, not sa blindsided ka na hiniwalayan ka, but you're blindsided about the end. When you can control it, you can already practice in your head, how do I do this nicely? You can prepare, ang daming, especially in our age, tita age, and the lives that we share with each other, ang daming dapat isipin, di ba? The finances and all that stuff. Dapat you're
Yes.
always ready kung may mangyari, especially may nararamdaman ka na, dapat naghahanda ka na para hindi yung parang, oh shit, di ko alam kung ano nangyari, anong gagawin ko ngayon, I'm so lost. Hindi ka lost. You know, and you choose na wag maging prepared. So, I think there's a way to prepare, not only how to say goodbye, but also to get yourself ready and to do it the right way. Actually, when I was preparing for this topic, naisip ko na, naku, baka wala akong masyadong ma-share kasi it's been such a long time na I've
Uh,
just been with the same person, and I haven't really, parang out of practice sa sa
Goodbye.
saying goodbye and also being said goodbye to. So ayun, narinig tuloy ako ng tadhana at saka binago tuloy yung kapalaran ko. Parang sabi ng Destiny, parang, ganun na, wala palang goodbye sa buhay mo. So anyway, I wanted to share with everybody, especially those who don't follow me on social media, that on Sunday, itong 2 days ago, we had to say goodbye to our 20-year-old cat.
Oh,
Diba? I know this is not a human loss, but it's still a relationship,
my gosh,
and
true.
it's right, it's still a relationship, and it's also like you still share your life with this creature. And I actually like told my wife na, alam mo, this people might say it's just a pet or whatever, but if you think about it, para tayong nagkaroon ng baby, tapos yung baby na yun hindi umalis sa tabi mo in bed for 20 years. 'Di ba? Most people, they have kids, tas mga maximum 3 years old, hindi mo nakatabi. Siguro mga 10 years old, hindi mo na masyadong mayakap masyado yan eh. But this one, talagang baby na baby mo for 20 years, and then you have to say goodbye. So, my point in sharing this is that
Um,
because matanda na nga siya, 20 years old, right? And a lot of pets, they only live mga 13, 15, 16, matanda na yun. This one is 20. So we've had a lot of conversations about how to prepare for the end and how to handle the situation when it comes. So we're able to have a lot of like, see how we both feel about how to handle it. Are we going to do like extreme life-saving measures, or Are we just gonna focus on the comfort of Simon and just make sure that he's comfortable and whatever, So I'd like to think that in the same way in with human relationships, there's a chance to prepare for things. Sometimes even pagka magkasama pa kayo, you're in a relationship, and even though you don't want to talk about the end, sometimes you actually have that conversation na hey, if we ever don't work out, I hope that we'll always do things in a respectful way, right? You sometimes you can have that conversation eh. Parang okay, like we probably won't break up because we love each other so much, but if we do, can we both promise each other na walang bad blood, walang, yung
Yes.
parang being bad talaga and evil, or no fights or greediness about money, or yung paninira sa mga friends or whatever. You can have these conversations and you can prepare. Whether or not masunod yon in the end, napag-usapan nyo na. And maybe one day, kung mangyari man yon, you can have, like, you'll remember na, ay, oo nga pala, we agreed na that we're gonna do this the right way. And even just having that conversation, you'll see actually, and you'll remember that this other person is kind enough to have this conversation to say, let's not be mean to each other no matter what happens. You can actually do that, right? And part of the whole saying goodbye process is just being mindful of cherishing the time with that person or creature or moment, even though it's difficult, that even though it doesn't end in the right way or nagkasakitan kayo in the end, to just always remember that you're grateful for the time that you did spend together, and once in your life masaya naman talaga kayo, so remember that, so that in the end you'll have a little more respect for the process and respect for the person, para hindi naman yung bastusan na yung minsan nakikita mo, kasi parang
Grabe.
wala nang pake yung mga tao, 'di ba? Na parang wala, I'm not going to return your things. Yung mga ganon, yung, ay, hindi. Look, kung gusto mo umalis, umalis ka. Hindi mo, you can't
Mhm.
take anything that's in my house. Yung mga ganon. Tapos,
Yes.
binabakuran na yung mga possessions, right? Even though you share the home, yan na, ipo-point out na bahay ko to eh. Di ko yung mga ganyan. And you see it so often, even in the most seemingly solid relationships that in the end, parang hindi mo nakilala yung tao, right? You can have conversations to prevent that, and hopefully it sticks. And I think the effort in talking about it will remind you what kind of person you're dealing with. Or baka makita mo na yung sign, right? Napansin mo na nung sa conversation pa lang sinabi na sa'yo, bahay ko to eh, di ikaw yung umalis, di alam mo na, di ba,
Mhm.
na nadehado ka, right? you know and another point I wanted to make, and also a lesson that losing our boy Simon taught us
Mhm.
this weekend, is that you can also prepare and prepare and prepare, but really nothing will really prepare you for the loss. It's part of our grief episode. You can imagine all sorts of things, na the way you think you'll react, but when it happens to you, how you'll feel that loss is really different. And maybe sometimes that's why people change. Tapos they just tend to do, they feel so much pain, and then they resort to being an evil person, di ba? Yung mga ganyan sa breakup, kasi nasaktan
Cold-hearted.
sila.
Yes.
Nasaktan sila masyado, sa parang, ganun na, sasaktan mo ako. So, okay, I'm gonna be your worst nightmare. Yung mga ganon, di ba?
Mhm.
But, sometimes you don't know, you can't prepare for it, you think that you can handle it, and the grief just takes you sometimes to the worst places and makes you the worst person. Masakit naman talaga siya. And where I'm feeling this now in my recent goodbye, I know it's just a pet. Some people think it's just a pet. And,
Mm.
sometimes my wife said, I think only pet owners can understand. Sabi ko, no, only the heartless people cannot understand, because you don't have to have a pet to know how
True.
you can love. You don't have to experience having a pet for a long time, but you can see how a person loves their pet, and so you can empathize and see that, oh yeah, if I love something that much and I lose that, I'm also going to feel hurt. So I know that this is something that, I wanted to share kasi nga, I'm going through it right now, and it's really like,
Um,
moments of like sadness, but I'm just glad that we were able to say goodbye in a way that we prepared for, and also in the way that felt right to us. And I hope that in all our relationships, we're able to be mindful enough to prepare for it and do it what in a way that we think is right, right?
that's why nga when you told me about the news, sobra ako nag-worry because I know how you take care of your babies
Mm-hmm.
there at home. Diba? That's first thing talaga I had to ask, how are you? Because
Yeah,
it's so hard to imagine, diba, na and now pa, bagong environment pa siya. Tapos, alam mo yun, then you've been posting na you're clipping his nails. So,
yeah.
parang, those are the things na, oh my gosh, alam mo yun, it's hard. Because, yeah, exactly. You don't need to be a pet owner. I'm not a pet owner, I wish.
Mm-hmm.
Pero, I know exactly how you take
Yeah,
care of your babies there. So, it's really
yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
Grabe
even
yung universe,
our
no?
friends here, kahit na wala silang pets, they've seen how much we love our pets, right? So kahit na maybe they can't relate in the pet factor, they can relate to us. And if they choose not to relate to us, di parang, okay, meron ka parang konting problema, because if you can't, if you love somebody, whatever hurts them, you will hurt you too. Kahit ano pa yon. You will relate,
So,
you will empathize, and you will feel their pain. And if you don't, then you're choosing not to feel the pain of someone you love. So parang that's something to think about
yes,
also.
that's so true. Kasi sobrang din sad news. I have a really good friend, nag-pass yung dad just
Yeah.
actually last night. I think last night or yesterday. So talagang, yung the whole day I was thinking about my friend na parang, saka I know kasi their family, they're all sisters, parang how are they kaya? Alam mo yun lang yung iniisip yun. And then, so, kasi grabe nga at this age talaga, like 2 weeks ago, a
Mhm.
batchmate of ours also passed na parang, oh my gosh, talagang mapapaisip ka talaga about everything, di ba? Your life.
Mhm.
And, syempre, we know their barkada na parang it was just so heartbreaking, really. It's just really sad and exactly, nothing really can prepare you for that moment. Kahit napag-isipan mo na siya, diba, na you know it's bound to
Mhm.
happen. But when it's there, it's just like, you don't really know how to react to
You
to
try your best, and
Yes.
practice and preparation. I think it also helps, just like in anything, right?
But when it's there,
So I want to know, kung ikaw, how have you managed? How have you
no.
broken people's hearts?
Yun nga. Siguro ako sometimes maybe I try to, kahit minsan galit ka na, 'di ba? Parang kasi nga ako as you know na how I do it, 'di ba? Parang by the time I break up, talagang ganyan na talaga. As
Mhm.
in, which as I said naman also, maybe partly to blame because hindi ko naman sinasabi exactly kung ano yung hurts me or yung hindi ko natitake,
Mhm.
'di. But at the end, it's really kinder words unless
Mhm.
talagang sumabog na ako that day.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't shout, I wouldn't do anything, and just be kind, I
Mhm.
think. And exactly, you know naman when it's gonna happen eh, 'di ba? Papatagalin mo pa ba?
Mhm.
You just have to say exactly the truth, 'di ba?
Mhm.
You can flower it with different words, but it's still, it won't, you're breaking somebody's heart eh.
Mhm.
So there's really there's really no
James
easy
I-
way, 'di ba? Yun na,
James
James Ingram
Ingram,
na,
there's
there's
no
no easy
easy
way
way
talaga.
to break.
'Di
Ay, nako,
ba?
tita levels, yung mga bata, hindi na nila alam yan.
O kasi lahat-lahat ng love songs dati talagang word per word malalaman mo talaga yung lyrics. Sobrang daming love songs na grabe. Anyway, so yun. And ito na. My question for today is, how important naman is closure? Since we were talking about breakups, 'di ba? Meron bang kailangan point na parang, okay, stop na. Ito na, goodbye.
Mhm.
So, how
Alam
important na merong ganong point?
every time I hear somebody talk about closure, yung nagde-demand sila ng closure, I wanna see this person one more time kasi kailangan may closure, closure, closure.
Oh my
I
gosh.
always want to know, do you really seek closure? Like, do you really like seek like peace with the events that happened? Or are you just looking for another hit with this person to continue the cycle? I mean, of course I've been in that other end, and I understand the desperation for an answer to silence all your questions. But is seeing the other person and getting answers really the solution? Is it really going to put you at peace? Or gusto mo parang, hindi, one last time. Gusto ko lang talaga, gusto ko lang talaga, may tatanong lang ako, gusto ko lang malaman kung ganito, ganito. Di naman natatapos eh.
Hindi nga,
I don't even like, have never heard of someone
hindi
say, I want
natatapos.
closure, let's meet up. And then after nung nag-usap sila, ay okay na. Kasi nasagot na niya. So, that's like, that's always something that I want to know. What are you trying to accomplish with this closure thing and the one last time? Or how about just try to be honest and be like, I just want the bonus sex.
That would be nice. That's a good ending.
Diba?
Anything, I think that's a nice ending.
Diba? Diba?
True.
Yan, ikaw.
Ayun. So, 'di ba kasi nga, again, I think my ninja skills were developed after that
Mhm.
long 12-year
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm.
Dami ko natutunan talaga doon. Um,
Mhm.
daming reflection. And then the term closure, doon ko talaga na-realize kung ano yun. So, nung broke up nga, 'di ba? Kasi ako naman nakipag-break talaga noon.
Mhm.
Parang, yun nga, I gave her 1 year, or the relationship 1 more year. Hindi ko naman
Mhm.
sinasabi sa kanya, pero it was just for me. I don't think alam niya yun. Anyway, so, yun nga, I didn't not tell, 'di ba? Tapos, after that, break up na. So, after that, of course, life goes on. And then na-realize na parang, wait, ako yung nakipag-break. Ba't iyak pa rin ako ng iyak when
Mhm.
I make kwento about it, na ito nangyari. And that's when, again, when you share talaga, you learn a lot. Sabi niya, you know why you're crying? Because you're still not okay.
Mhm.
So that really, ayun pala yun. I never really thought about it. Kasi ako, I'm okay. Ako nga nakipag-break. Wala na nga, diba? But sobrang, pag kinukwento ko yung relationship, what happened, yung breakup, talagang cry
Of
and cry.
course.
So parang ako, hindi ko naisip yun eh, na parang, di ba, parang you're the one who broke up, then you should be okay. Di ba?
Mhm.
And then that's what I learned about closure. Na parang, okay, so that means na nga, siguro that's for me, I call it healing now.
Mhm.
So, eventually, what happened was, nag-usap kami ulit. For some reason, matagal na, nag-usap kami ulit and just casual. Parang catch up kung anong nangyari, ganyan, na hindi ko na realize na mag-usap kami ulit. And then, she goes, uy, I just wanna tell you, I'm sorry. Bang! Sabi na ako, wow! Yun lang pala yung gusto ko talagang because nga,
Mhm.
as you make mga kwento, di ba, you were telling a while ago,
Mhm.
what I'm doing, hindi niya ikokopya yon. You're correct. Feeling ko what I'm doing, yun yung gusto ko rin gawin sa akin in the
Mhm. Mhm.
relationship, di ba? Eh, hindi
Mhm.
ginagawa. And one time, tinanong ko nga talaga, do you know, do unto others what you want others to do unto you? As in, the person said, I don't get it. I'm like, oh, okay. So parang ako, okay. So now talaga hindi mo talaga i-force. So anyway, so one of the things I've always wanted was to hear that word.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Mhm.
That was it. when I
Mhm.
would make kwento again about the relationship,
Okey na.
I was not even crying at all. Sabi ko, grabe, yun lang pala yun, na parang to acknowledge that that sorry really was maybe my
Mhm.
closure.
Mhm.
And then, kasi it happens to us every time we talk again, babalikan kami. Pero hindi nangyari. So I think I broke again her heart that time.
Mhm.
Pero after that, sobrang I was okay na. So
Mhm.
yun nga, that I think closure for me would be about healing na
Mhm.
after. Yun nga. And
Mhm.
kasi I was thinking that na parang, ako yung nakipag-break, dapat I'm the happiest, di ba? Kasi umalis na ako sa relationship na yun. Pero, very interesting. And I think it's important because I think when you have closure, you'll be able, quote and unquote, closure, yung healed is nga, you'll be able to move on,
Mhm.
learn from that
Mhm. Mhm.
relationship and just, see how it goes on your
Mhm.
new relationship.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, for me kasi yung closure, when I think about it, I don't think it has anything to do really with the other person. I think it's when you say closure, parang you've already sorted things out in your head and now you understand. And closure, I think, should mean that you've already processed it and you know where things fit and now you know what you need to really move on and heal. Kasi yung katulad ng sinabi mo na kung ikaw yung nakipag-break or ikaw yung dehado in the relationship, tapos nakawala ka na, you expect na parang, oh my God, I'm gonna be so happy because I'm done with that. But we always forget, minahal mo yung taong yun eh. No matter how rotten that person was, how rotten the relationship, and how glad you are to have left that relationship, my belief is that you once you love someone you will always love them, and a lot of when you're not with that person anymore, even though it was a terrible relationship, you will always carry that sense of like loss na parang ang dami kong ginawa in that relationship. I sacrificed myself, I hurt myself, I probably damaged my health to stay in this toxic relationship. And I will always feel not just the love for that person but also the sadness that the other person didn't see my effort, couldn't return my love in a way that I needed, right? So that's why it's never the case na sobrang saya ka na unless you start a new relationship and just distract yourself. Pero even
True.
then, ginawa ko na yan dati. I started a relationship kaagad, pero may overlap talaga. Dinadala mo talaga at maiiyak ka pa rin about the relationship, previous relationship, kahit na it was a terrible relationship, right?
Yes, 'di ba? So, yes. So, how to do a proper goodbye, 'di ba? Whether relationship or friendship, I guess it's just being kind also in letting go of somebody, being honest, because sometimes maybe that other person really doesn't know meron siyang ugali or a personality na hindi talaga okay, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Na it would be nice maybe that they would change that because I'm sure they have other relationships outside
Mm-hmm.
your own relationship, 'di ba? Um, I think it's just being honest. That's all. Yun din
Mm-hmm.
sa amin ng wife namin. It's like, ng wife ko, it's like, kami Karen, it's just, we always say, we just have to be honest with each other. Yun lang hinihingi namin sa isa't isa. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just honesty because being honest will help naman both of you eh. Diba? And just to be able to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So yun lang, there's really no proper way of saying goodbye. If you feel it, go for it. Pero sa
Mm-hmm.
akin lang, don't be in a relationship na you won't give your best. I think, ako rin, I'm like that eh. Ayoko kasi ng mga what ifs eh. So, if you think na parang so-so lang to, then you just, date na lang kayo.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be in a relationship, diba? And para at least,
Alam
you
mo naman
know,
yun eh, nararamdaman mo naman yun eh, 'di
exactly,
ba?
na hindi mo kailangan
Nararamdaman ko na yun
ipilit.
dati eh, kasi 'di ba parang alam mo na, especially if you really got to know yourself already. Kilala mo na yung sarili mo in a relationship and alam mo na yung ugali mo kung paano ka magmahal, right? So, like for me before, I know that I give everything. I know I give my best effort and I know that I don't I don't leave anything to chance. I just do and I give my best effort. And then Sometimes, oh, there was one time that I was in a relationship with someone. It's just off. I didn't want to do anything. Kahit na sobrang bait niya, sobrang mahal niya ako, everything was an effort.
Um,
Kahit yung magbigay ka ng gift or magbigay ka ng flowers na alam mo gusto niya ng flowers, parang naghahanap pa ako ng pinakamurang flowers. Wala akong pakialam, di ba, kung mahal mo, parang, oh yeah, I'm gonna give the best. Pero alam mo na yun na parang wala kang pake. Hindi kasalanan ng tao because hindi, it's just not a match. You're just not feeling that person and it's just not,
yes.
you're just not compatible. Alam mo naman yun eh. So it's better to just be honest in that way instead of leading the person on it's going to develop. Especially, and this is, I think, a general rule, no matter what it is, if you do not like the person that you are in a relationship, that is a clue. Whether hindi ka mabait, it brings out the worst in you, or
Oh my
you're
gosh.
not as in love, you're not experiencing the whole experience of love with this person kahit na napakabait niya. It's a sign to you that you're not being yourself and it's not fulfilling you in the way that you want, right?
Yes.
You know,
So, what are your
I,
tips?
I thought about some tips, especially in friendships, because we also have friendship breakups and we also say goodbye in friendships. In friendships, it depends how close you are. Kasi we have a lot of friendships na hindi naman ganun ka-deep. Or hindi naman kayo parating nagkikita, or maybe parang it's just a little more than acquaintance level. Sometimes a formal goodbye is not really that necessary. Eh. You can just fade away. You can just like slow down your replies. Kung malayo kayo, kung,
Yes.
if you live around each other, parang gawin mong madalang yung meeting nyo and slowly the other person will either take a hint or it will just slowly like fade, and
True.
especially if both parties aren't really exerting the same amount of effort. And sometimes kung the friendship level is not even really that deep, expressing your resentments doesn't really do anything, nagkakasakitan lang kayo. Kasi hindi naman kayo ganun ka-close eh. Imagine mo yung isang tao na nakikita mo once every 2 years or once every year, tapos sabihin mo parang, you know what, I'm ending this friendship because, you're just a mean person and I don't want to be associated with you. Parang, off, di ba?
Yes.
Parang you just carry this heavy thing instead of like, just avoid each other. Pwede naman eh. Malay mo the person also feels that way towards you, kaya they're not that nice to you. You know, it takes a little bit of discipline. Because sometimes pag bata ka, you just want to express everything. Parang, oh, ganon, sinaktan mo ko. Okay, I'm going to cut ties with you and I'm gonna tell you that you're a jerk or whatever. Meanwhile, you could have just walked away and accomplished the same thing without, aside from hurting each other's feelings, hurting all the people around you also, right? So,
Yes.
if you do have to clearly state the reason, you can be honest and use general terms, but you also have to be like firm and final. Kung you're ending
Yeah.
the friendship, then say the reason. Pero if you still want to work it out, iba yung approach. It's not goodbye. Don't say goodbye because you want them to change. Right?
Yes.
Kasi
Ah,
parang
yes.
same sa relationship, meron kasing nag-relationship na ganyan na break up yung first approach. Be-breakan na kita kasi ang sama ng ugali mo. Tapos pag sabihin ng isang tao, o sige, break na
Sige.
tayo. Ay, ganun, hindi mo paglalaban? Hindi ka na magbabago?
That's so
'Di ba? Ang daming
funny.
ganyan, 'di ba? Parang kung say what you want, mean what you say, and say what you mean. Kung gusto mo magbago yung tao, sabihin mo, gusto kita magbago. Huwag kang makipag-break kasi if they call you out on that, like if you call your bluff, dapat handa
Goodbye.
ka. Never ever drop I'm breaking up with you if you don't mean it, if you want them to change, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Next, if you're going to be honest, which you can, don't be brutal naman. Because you can say the things that you don't like But you don't have to do it in such a painful way, especially if you're ending the relationship. There's no point, 'di ba? Parang hindi mo naman, you're not waiting for the other person na magbago sila. You're not wanting to inspire them or whatever. And if you're trying to end it on a good note, as we should all try to do in a respectful manner, you can change your wording a little bit. Like for example, what you really want to say is like, I'm breaking up with you kasi sobrang antipati ka eh. That might be the truth,
Reason,
and you
yes.
might have had many years na antipathic kayong tao na yon. But you don't have to say that because what's the point? You can just say, I don't think we're a match.
True.
Maybe our values are different. Our personalities are just so different and we're going in different directions, which is also the truth. But it's not so specific na magsisimula ka pa ng away. Because don't expect na pag sinabi mo dun sa tao, I'm breaking up with you kasi antipathic ka, sasabihin ng tao, ay, oo nga,
Thank you.
thank you, oo nga, babaguhin ko to. Hindi, sasagot yon. Sasagot yon, sasaktan ka pa, magpo-point out pa ng mga pagkukulang mo. Instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
like, if you do general terms, they can't really prove you wrong, di ba? Pag sinabi mong we're headed in different directions, that's your opinion. Alangan mo sabihin ng tao, no, it's the same. No, they can't fight it and it's not open for debate. Or if you really want to say, I'm hindi mo talaga siya, you're not physically attracted to that person, or feeling mo talaga parang, you know what, it's just not doing it for me, or in, very bluntly, you might feel like, tsaka kasi to, or whatever, whatever it is, ama ng ugali, or physique, or madungis, or whatever, you might feel that, but you don't have to say it. You don't have to say, I'm not attracted to you. You can just say, I don't see you in the same way as a romantic partner, or I see you more as a friend, and that's fair. And that's fair to say. You don't have to be so blunt because there is no point, and you don't want to end it in a fight or a debate. You try to do it in person, and or if not possible, over the phone or video naman, para hindi naman text or email. I know that it's
Yes.
modern world and a lot of people just do this by message or ghosting or whatever. Pero kung may pinagsamahan naman kayo, can you just do the other person a favor and do it face to face? Para hindi naman sobrang harsh naman nun, I think. I don't know if that's old-fashioned now. But just try to do it naman. Pero kung kunyari strangers naman kayo, wala naman nangyari, parang okay, fine. You can
One
ghost
thing
the
lang.
person or whatever. What they don't owe you anything. Pero kung may relationship naman kayo, can you like just,
True.
again, be respectful and also respect what you had even though you want to get out of it. And then next, don't go back and forth kasi naawa ka. It's not fair to the other person. And it's so tempting because we're all
Yes.
guilty and you want to relieve that guilt, right? It's the
Yeah.
same as this rush always na let's be friends, okay? Let's be friends and let's keep in touch and whatever and constantly in touch because we want, but you're just really trying to relieve your guilt.
Oh,
You
yes.
hurt the person, and it's normal for the person to be hurt because you broke up with them or you ended things.
Yes.
You need to sit with that discomfort of choosing yourself and hurting others in the process instead of going back and forth, lalo lang hahaba. And kung naawa ka and then you got back together with them or you had like bonus sex and whatever and the other person's still attached, lalo lang masakit and it just becomes more dirty and then lalo lang dumadami yung resentment kasi ang dami mo nang sinabi na reason na hiwalayan mo and then you hooked up again, yung tao na confused, parang okay, I guess you're fine with that, tapos sabihin mo na naman ulit na actually no.
Oh my God.
And again, lastly, something that our Lola years and Tita years have taught us is that, time is really, time heals all wounds talaga, Chucks. It will be better later.
Yeah.
Don't rush to into reconnecting agad or becoming friends because you're guilty. You bear your guilt, you sit with it, you use that as, a way to process ano ba yung nangyari, And it's going to remind you to be more careful in your choices later on. Kasi lalo na pagka naramdaman mo talaga na nasaktan mo yung tao even though you weren't happy anymore. The next time, you'll remember that and you'll remember to already uh, cut it short kung talagang hindi naman talaga kayo bagay. Umpisa pa lang, pinilit mo ng pinilit. Then, lalo ka lang nakasakit ng tao. And I learned this firsthand because I tried to stay with somebody na alam ko na hindi ko naman talaga siya. I knew I could tell all the signs, hindi ko talaga siya bet, hindi ko talaga siya really, really was not in love with this person. Pero inisip ko lang, hindi, mabait eh. And I really would just wanted someone to be nice to me. As akala ko na parang, okay, that's enough my, half-ass effort. Kasi akala mo you can wing it and fake it. Pero in the end, nakasakit ka talaga and then lalo pang lumala instead of alam mo na in the beginning, especially when you get to know yourself well, alam mo na hindi tayo bagay. So you can already save each other time.
True. Although again, tita levels, you will learn that maybe because of course nga, your guilt, diba? So,
Yeah.
so pa
You have to
talaga.
make the mistakes.
Yes, really. So, ako naman, what Kia said exactly. Reflect, think about it, have kind words. Ako naman, final words ko is, you know what, as always, di man perfect lahat. You may be in a relationship, sometimes you put your best foot forward, the other person puts their best foot forward, tapos pag nandun na, that's when you get to know each other, and you realize, ay, oh my gosh, hindi ito yung nakilala kong tao, diba? I mean, that's how we are kasi when
Mm-hmm.
we start relationships, especially your new ones, right? The first ones. Kasi finally, you can have a partner na, di ba? So parang you would hold on to that and then you realize, oops, hindi pala ito yung gusto ko, di ba? If it brings out the worst in you, yung ganon, di ba? It's just dragging on. Saying goodbye doesn't make you a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Yun lang sa akin. I think a lot of people don't want to do it because they don't want to be a bad person. And because of that, as Kia said a while ago, you may sabotage the relationship, you will hurt the other person, you will do things just to make the other person say
Mm-hmm.
goodbye. Diba? And that's even
Mm-hmm.
worse.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? So, ang tip ko lang, if you think it's not working, ginawa mo na lahat, yun sa akin, as I said, go in a relationship because you want to see maybe may possibility na long-term kayo and you'll do everything, di ba? And if you've done everything, it still doesn't work, at least you did your best.
Mm-hmm.
Saying goodbye doesn't make you a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Again. And ikaw, and the other person then, baka naman you're hindering that person to meet somebody
Mm-hmm.
better than you for them, di
Mm-hmm.
ba? So, yun lang yung tip ko. Don't prolong something just because of the stories in your
Mm-hmm.
head or ano yung dapat or yung proper,
Mm-hmm.
ayaw mo maging masama.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare. Say it. Think about why you want to end it. There must be a reason. And
Mm-hmm.
just do it. Diba? And again, sabi nga ni Kia, don't try to say na, "Hindi, friends pa rin tayo." Kasi nga, there's something naman talaga, but sometimes you just can't bear each other anymore. Give that time kung talagang you're at the end, friends lang
Mm-hmm.
talaga, it will come back and you'll be good
Mm-hmm.
friends.
It will.
Yun lang sa akin. Yun, don't be afraid kasi I've met a lot of people who really are not happy but are still staying.
Ayaw lang nila mang-iwan because they
Ayaw.
think that that's like a negative, di ba? And you hear that all the time when people say, parati na lang akong iniiwan, as if, the other person is always evil. Pero when I hear that na parati lahat naman kasi iniiwan ako, for me, that's a sign of what kind of person are you in the relationship, because I trust most people to be good, decent people na hindi naman aalis yan kung hindi talaga nabigay na lahat and it's not so toxic. So if you're always being left, maybe there's something wrong,
Think
right?
about.
But
Yes.
either way, I always say that the only promise of a hello is a goodbye, right? There's never a guarantee And that moment that you feel entitled to something, you feel entitled to happiness, you feel entitled to a good partner, you feel entitled to
Mhm.
someone doing what you want, that's when you get disappointed, right? And also to remember that if you really love someone, you want what's best for them. You don't hold them back. If you can't love them the way they deserve to be loved, you need to let them go. Dragging them along is like it's really not fair, right? So,
Yes.
let's not think of leaving as something that's evil. You know,
Yes.
we've all been in at the other end of like heartbreak na tayo
Oh
yung
my gosh.
nasaktan. And I
Yes.
always say that it always starts with, why did you leave me? I'm so hurt. But as time goes on and you see the world out there or you learn to love again, suddenly you're going to say, thank you for leaving me
True. I would have
because I
not
was
had this
able
thought.
to find the rest of my life. So we should always think of it that way and not dwell on like these goodbyes as the end of the world, because it's not the end of the world, it's the beginning of a new one. Diba?
Yes. And also,
Right?
lastly rin, don't even think na, ay, iwan lang ako nito. Yun naman, sana hindi rin yung iniisip mo na, ay, we're just gonna end it, so you won't give your all,
Mm-hmm.
'di ba? Yun nga yun, be in a relationship because you enjoy the excitement, the love, or whatever it brings out in you.
Mm-hmm.
Siyempre may hard times, but it shouldn't, saying goodbye shouldn't be the reason that you won't give your
Mm.
all.
That's right.
Also.
Thank you
Alright.
so much for all your insights
Thank
right now.
you.
So, as we mentioned in the beginning of this episode, this is our last episode for the second season. So, we will see you in season 3. There we're taking a break for the summer. We're like, doing our own things,
Yeah.
and then we're going to reconnect. We're figuring out the date, so just you know, watch out. We're going to be releasing some videos along the way, and then some sneak peeks into our third season, so just watch out for that, and we will see you again.
Yes, and because of that, you have to take note of our IG, our Facebook, so
Facebook.
you know exactly what will happen. So at least we can keep up also with our communications. We'll make
Yeah.
sure we'll be active in the social media realm.
Mm-hmm.
Realm talaga, di ba?
Real.
And yes, and for that, this has been another episode of Salt and Pepe Podcast.
See you next time. We will be back very soon. Don't miss us too much.
That's not goodbye. See you soon.
Bye. Thanks for letting us spice up your day.
Keep on listening to Salt and Pepe Podcast.
Konting alat
Konting anghang.
and Pepe all around.
This has been Lia.
And Shakira.
See you next time.